Good morning, Nixon.
Good morning.
Uh, Thank you very much for being partner of Finacle for so long. And this is for the global audience. To begin with, I would request you to give some background about Botswana and the Botswana Savings Bank, and as well as your journey as a CEO of this bank.
Okay, thank you very much, and thanks for having me on this interview. Before I talk about Botswana Savings Bank, maybe let me just give you a context of the country. Botswana in Southern Africa, a slightly different country, small population, about 2 million people, but it's quite a big country, almost like the size of France. 80% of the country is the Kalahari Desert, and most of the people are on the eastern side, about 80% of the people. So this is where the Botswana Savings Bank kind of operates from. We are wholly owned by the government of Botswana. This is 100% shareholding, and our mandate is to provide services to all the people of Botswana. This now makes it a problem, big country, population density is quite small, about 4 people per square kilometer if you really look into it in that context. But we need to provide services to everybody, even in the areas where the population density is quite low. So this is the challenges. In that kind of environment, what you find is that economies of scale are not what they should be. Cost of providing service is not what it should be. The eastern side of the country is the country that's more developed.
Okay.
And this is where we actually do business. And with the Botswana Savings Bank, I've been CEO now for the last 6 years. The Botswana Savings Bank, what you call the BSB, has been around since for 33 years now. And we've been mostly a traditional bank.
Okay.
In the last 6 years, this is when we're trying to get to the next level, to modernize, to digitize. And I guess this is where Finacle emphasis has come into the picture.
Thank you, Niskan. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. So going back to the thing that you talked about, the digital transformation, and I just wanted to ask you a question in terms of what are the key trends that you are seeing in Botswana specifically, and any other trends that you observe which is important in the rest of Africa. And do you see that some of those trends are giving you some opportunities or challenges in terms of that you want to address?
Well, I would say so, especially since COVID. Botswana has about 10 banks. And like I did mention that we've been fairly a traditional bank. So we needed to digitize,
Okay.
and almost all the other banks have had to do this. Before we had this partnership with yourselves, we actually even use passbooks. We are about 20 years behind.
Okay.
We didn't have the technology to do what we needed to do. So for now, us and all other banks, we are looking into digitizing.
Okay.
We are looking into moving away from brick and mortar.
Mm-hmm.
We have started agency banking, which is one other conversation we'll actually have with Infosys in the near future.
Okay.
And one of the things we find is that the branch experience for us and other banks is also different. And this is also what is happening throughout the rest of Africa. Some banks are actually closing their branches. People are moving into the cliques,
Mm-hmm.
although we still have a bit of a population that is traditional who still want to see a bank. So, we are in the midst of the old and the new, but the fact of the matter is that there has to be digitization, there is digitization. There has to be other ways of doing business, like the change in the branch experience. Like I said, we're moving to agency banking, and more, the cost of doing business became a problem. And I'll keep on talking about digitization and becoming more efficient as we proceed on this conversation.
Thank you, Nixon. I think the key theme that you're talking about is the digitization.
Oh, yes.
And that is across in terms of channels in the branch, and as well as extending it to the channel partners through agency banking.
Oh, yes.
Thanks for that insight. So having that as a background in terms of the trends that you see, the opportunity that you see, and the challenges ahead, what are the key, if you can, identify the 3 strategies for the coming year for Bank of Botswana?
For us as the BSB, like I said, we are coming back from our 20 years back.
Mm-hmm.
And what we needed to do was to get to the same level as everybody else in terms of the technology. We are not quite there yet. One of the things, if I just digress, that was quite happy to hear
Okay.
was what Infosys is doing in terms of data mining. I'll just call it data mining for my purposes, in terms of revenue management.
Okay.
The reason why it's important to us is that we have a captive market, still quite small, like 100,000 clients, but we're not quite doing all the services or providing all the services we need to. So I think we need to do more out of the captive business that we have. This, like for the last 3 years, we doubled our profits. This year we'll quadruple our profits to some extent, because now we have a secure and center, the core banking system that is more like stable. So we're not able to do other things. So for now, as we work on our digital journey, we'll also be doing our data mining. We'll also be trying to do more with the clients that we have, even before we look out there for other potential new clients. As we expand our business, we also went into bank assurance. We are now going into micro lending. So almost all of this, you can't really do any new business without the technology supported. So we'll still be spending a bit of money on the technology. Of course, there is the customer interface behind it, but increasingly we see that it's not technology. During COVID, if I also digress, because we're still using passbooks, we couldn't do business. So it was a challenge. So COVID, I won't say it came at the right time, but it created the necessary impetus for us to really see that we need to get to the next level.
I think that has been the global phenomena everywhere that we talk. The COVID actually accentuated the journey for digitization across industries, including banking. Thanks for those insights, Nixon. This leads me to the next question in terms of when you started embarking on the digitization journey, and then you shortlisted Finacle to do and help you in terms of this entire transformation journey. What did you see as the key drivers for you to go behind this kind of a transformation journey, whether it's a business driver or the technology driver? Though you mentioned a couple of them, but if you have any specific drivers that actually gave these insights that you should go ahead with Infosys.
Well, we needed to change our core banking system. Our cost of doing business was extremely high. We were extremely manual. The manpower costs were out of this world. And it was just a foregone conclusion that we now need to see what we can do in terms of digitizing. We have had other technology partners. We hadn't quite gotten what we wanted to get as a service, as value to the bank. And before we even went ahead with Finacle, we went around a few countries just to see what yourselves and other potential competitors are doing. And we did come across quite a few banks who were happy with the service that you actually offer. The only problem was that we decided to change around COVID. Yeah, that was a major problem. Unfortunately, your people could not come to Botswana. But surprisingly, we're still able to do the changeover. Surprisingly. We're still able to do the changeover. And surprisingly, we're still able to get a clean audit within 3 months after the changeover. So one wonders how smooth it could have been had your people been able to come to Botswana if it had been yourselves. But of course, there'll be issues there. But to be honest, we are happy at the moment.
Thank you very much for those really motivating words and encouraging words. So going back in terms of technology that you spoke about, while one is looking at the transformation using the backend, and you would have heard about the new technologies like the artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and the technologies like blockchain and cloud. So how do you see that some of these technologies are going to help you in terms of the challenges that you had identified earlier in terms of improving customer experience, going out of these manual processes, or looking at improving the branch experiences or agency banking? How do you see some of these technologies are going to help you in terms of achieving growth?
Well, we are not there yet. But the fact of the matter is that if we didn't have a stable core banking system, we wouldn't even start thinking about those. So we needed to start with the necessary aspect, which is stability at the core. We're almost there. We're almost like stable at the core. We're now looking into how we can use technology more efficiently, what we can have as surround systems to actually like get to the next level, how we can do away with manual interfaces, how we can use AI, if you like, to actually service our existing clients. So this is what we're looking at. But it won't necessarily be this kind of financial year, which comes to an end in about 5 months up to March. But we're already looking into our budgets to see what we can do between now and the next few years. But it goes without saying, we need to adopt this technology as well.
Absolutely. This has been the common theme that we've been hearing from most of the bankers in terms of why the technologies are still evolving, but it has a great promise in terms of how to solve the business problems going forward.
Oh, yes.
So thanks, Nixon. That was the major part of the interview. I'm now getting into the rapid fire.
Okay.
So you can take your time to answer, even though it's with rapid fire.
No, that's fine.
So AI, ML, blockchain, cloud. Which one technology you feel that is going to be taking off?
I think initially AI.
Oh.
Initially AI. I mean, the commercial banks, not commercial banks, our central bank still has a problem with, not really has a problem, but it's still trying to appreciate the blockchains and all of that. But AI, obviously, we can utilize part of it for now, and we don't have much time. We really need to ensure that we can embed it as soon as possible.
I agree. Next rapid fire question comes to the cloud technologies.
Yeah.
Whether you're comfortable with hybrid, private cloud, or public cloud?
That also comes with challenges as well.
Okay.
In terms of regulators in Botswana.
Okay.
We now have a new Data Protection Act.
Oh.
The country is a bit uncomfortable with having data outside the country, but ideally we want to go with the cloud as early as now. But we now need to deal with our regulators. So the likelihood is that we'll actually start with a hybrid kind of model.
Okay, best of both.
Best of both, if you like. But of course, regulators approving.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. In your experience and interaction so far, which technology you feel it has been overhyped? One technology, if you can name.
In terms of banking or in terms of
banking technology or in terms of general technology?
Well, the thing is, you can't really say anything has been overhyped. I think one of the speakers yesterday mentioned that out of the last 100 years, so much has changed in terms of banking in the last maybe 10 years,
yes,
or 15 years. And whatever we think could be overhyped now could be the next big thing in the next few years, which is why I'm sure people like yourself, you probably are spending a lot of money on research and development.
Absolutely.
Because there's just so much potential. And we just don't know what banking will look like in the next 3, 4, 5 years. We have different types of banks that are coming into the market. We have nano banks, we have us, the traditional types of banks, but increasingly everybody can see that each and every bank has to have huge layers of technology. Because increasingly people have to look into their cost-income ratios, cost of doing business. Increasingly people have to be competitive in terms of margins. There are all these competing priorities. But the more important thing is that if somebody wants to be in the market, then one needs to look into all these technologies.
Absolutely.
And see which one can adopt to be competitive going forward.
That's right, Nixon. In fact, we ourselves as a technology service provider are experiencing that there were decades nothing happened, but there are now weeks, decades are happening.
Yeah.
So in terms of technology, that is true. So Nixon, thank you very much for your useful insights. I'm sure the global audience is going to like that, and they will be able to now take some lessons from your country and as well as your bank's own journey so that they can implement that and see the success. Thank you very much. Thanks for the time.
Thank you very much. And in the next few years, I think we would have fully adopted more technologies than what we have done now, because that's the only way to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's the good news.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.